Huron County Community Library, a destination for all ages.
Hey guys, it's Miss Char. I am here to celebrate National Potato Chip Day, which is March 15th with you. And so I thought I would show you how to make homemade potato chips. Now this is not something that a child can do by themselves, but it is a great thing to do as a family. So I think you'll have a lot of fun with it. So if you have a mandolin, get one of those ready, and you'll need a dinner plate. If you don't have a mandolin, just a sharp paring knife will work. You just need to make slices on your potatoes. So you're going to need some potatoes. I found in my research that russet potatoes are best for potato chips, so that's what I bought. I've gone ahead and washed mine and taken off the ends so that they're ready to go. I will be using for this one just some Crisco vegetable oil, and you're going to be putting that in a bag. I'm just using a Ziploc bag, and you only need a tablespoon of the oil, okay? And I'm just going to do one potato. We're going to do it in the microwave, which is really fun. And let me tell you, I've already tried them. They're really good. Okay, so you're just going to open up your bag and put your oil in. Get it ready. And then you're going to go ahead and slice your potato. Again, this is where mom and dad have to come in because this is a sharp tool. And just put your potato on. Get your slicer set so that it is on the thinnest that you can get it. And just put your potato on. Put your plate underneath to catch it. And away you go. And it slices it really fast, really thin. And we'll have potato chips quickly. Now for my microwave, it's going to take about 7 minutes. If you have a really powerful microwave, it might take less. So kind of watch them. You don't want them to get too brown. I did notice when I was doing mine, I did a couple batches and I did them a little bit, some longer than others just to see what they did. And I did not like it as well when I got them too crisp. So I like them a little bit soft and a little bit crispy on the edges, so that works really well. Always be careful with the mandolin if you're using that, or even a knife. Just watch those sharp edges because you are trying to get the potatoes as thin as possible. All right. Got one little piece left there. Let's see if we can get it to go. There. All right, I think that's thin enough. All right, so just go ahead and take those. Oh boy, we really got those nice and thin. Okay, see how thin those are? And you're gonna go ahead and put them in your bag and just kind of smush them around so that they get the oil on them. And these are thinner than the ones that I used the last time, so maybe I won't be doing them for 7 minutes. Maybe I'll only do them for 5 this time, because those are thinner than the ones I used last time. When you put them on the plate, sorry about that, when you put them on the plate, you are going to want to put them on in a single layer. Okay, so you're going to do these in small batches. And you might want to add just a little bit of oil to your plate first. Just a tiny drop. I'm going to take a piece of paper towel and just kind of go around on my plate just to get that moisture that's on there from the potatoes off, and to go ahead and coat it a little bit. Okay, so I'm just going to, let me move the mandolin out of the way here. I'm going to just put them on my plate in a single layer, and we'll put them in the microwave. So I was researching some stuff on potato chips and found out that potato chips were first kind of, there's lots of widely written things about potato chips, but one of the things that is most written about is George Crumb, and I think that was like in 1853. He was the chef at a restaurant in Sarasota Springs, New York, and he had a gentleman come in and order French fries. Now, back in that day, French fries were eaten with a knife and a fork. Okay, so they were obviously kind of thick. And he had made some, and they were sent back to the kitchen by the person who had ordered them because they were soggy and too salty. Well, that kind of made the chef a little angry, so Mr. Crumb wasn't too happy. So he sliced the potatoes really, really thin and heavily salted them and fried them till they were crisp and sent them back out. Well, lo and behold, the customer liked them and he became kind of famous for those potato chips. So that's kind of where it originated, to the best that I could find. There's lots of things out there that say that's a myth, but that's where it originated. I think the first actual potato chip company was the Lay's company. So Henry Lay's, I believe it was his name, started the Lay's company, and that was the first ones that were manufactured. So let's go ahead and get these in the microwave. And I'm going to put them on for 5 minutes just because I think I sliced them a little thin this time. And we'll see how that goes. We'll be back. These only took about 5 minutes. I didn't think, because they were a lot thinner, that they would take as long as the others. So now that they're out, just take a little salt, if you like salt on your chips, and just sprinkle it on. And of course you're going to want to wait a few minutes till they cool, okay, before you try eating one, okay? They are pretty hot. And parents, just so you know, the plate coming out of the microwave, make sure that you have a pot holder because the plate gets very, very hot, okay? So these have been sitting a couple of minutes so that I can try one for you. Oh my, crispy, crunchy deliciousness. Try making these at home with your family. If you like them a little thicker than that, these did get a little thinner than I like them, but man, are they good. So we will be coming back. I'm going to show you how to do some in the, just on the stove in a skillet. So that'll be fun. See you soon. All right, so I am back with our second session of how to make potato chips at home. And just show you, this is russet potatoes, and we're just going to use russets again. If you like, on any potato chip that you make, if you want to take the peel off, if you don't like the peel, my family likes it, so I always just leave it on. You can take it off, just cut it off with a knife like you normally would, and then go ahead and slice your potatoes. This time I'm going to slice them a little bit thicker. I'm going to put them in oil on the stove. So I'm going to slice them just a little bit thicker. I like them that way. Potato doesn't want to stick on there today. There we go. All right, got it all. So I'm going to do a couple of potatoes because that'll make quite a few for us to eat. This time you're going to want to get as much starch out of the potato as you can. So once I get it all sliced here, I'm going to put it in ice water in a bowl, and I'm going to leave it sit for at least a half an hour. If you're making French fries or something like that and you want to do them and you want them to be extra crispy, you want to leave them for 2 to 3 hours. They can sit in that water. So as you can see, my slices are a little bit thicker this time, and I'm just going to take, I've got my ice water, and I'm just going to put them in there and let them soak for about a half an hour. And then we'll come back and talk about getting the oil ready and having some more potato chips. So see you then. So something important that I noticed when I went to stir the potatoes before, I had forgotten to tell you, you have to put in 5 teaspoons of salt too. That helps to draw that starch out, okay? So as you can see, it's a little bit cloudy, and that is the starch in the potatoes. So I am going to go ahead and drain them. and then I'm gonna put them on a cookie sheet and pat them dry a little more. I'm just gonna dump them out here on my cookie sheet and dry them off a little bit more. That's just gonna let them get crispy when we put them in the oil. So I am back. I've got my potatoes drained and I'm just patting them dry with a paper towel just to get that excess moisture off if I can. I've had my oil heating in my pan for about 5 minutes or so. And a good way to check to see if it's hot enough, if you just dip the end of a wooden spoon in, if it has bubbles around the bottom of it, that means you're ready to fry, okay? If it's too bubbly, then you might want to turn it down just a little bit. So some oils to fry in: olive oil, vegetable oil, canola oil, peanut oil, coconut oil. All of those have good properties to deep fry with, okay? They'll withstand that heat, because it needs to be 370, at least 375 degrees in order to get good and crispy. So I'm gonna take them over now. We're gonna try dropping them in and seeing how it goes. Oh yeah, they're doing well. I'm sure you can hear them sizzling. This is the fun part. But again, this is a family project. The kids could do the wiping off of the potatoes. Mom can do the dropping in. You want to do them in small batches so you don't overcrowd them in your pan. My oil is about 1.5 inches deep. You want to come over and show them what it's looking like in here. So they're starting to crisp up really, really well, really fast. It'll take about 3 to 4 minutes for them. And you can take a slotted spoon and stir them. Okay, that's about all I'm gonna put in. And I'm gonna just kind of stir them around in there and let them get good and crispy. As you can see, some of them are starting to really crisp up already. So that's really good. And they're gonna taste wonderful. All right. Of course, just take them out, put them on a paper plate, or on a plate lined with a paper towel, so that absorbs that extra oil that's really not the best for you. So, and while they're still hot, you're gonna wanna sprinkle them with salt, or I kind of like to put on, my favorite thing on them is a little bit of garlic pepper or garlic powder and some Parmesan cheese. I love that. That's one of my favorites. But I also like ranch dressing, just the seasoning that you put on. I like the ranch seasoning on them. As you can see, these are really turning out great. And I'm sure they're going to be pretty tasty. All right. Never leave hot oil on the stove. So always make sure that someone's standing here watching the potato chips, even if you take a plate over to put something, you know, someone else takes it over to go ahead and put stuff on it. Just make sure that somebody's always watching the oil, because oil can get hot pretty quickly, and we don't want anybody having any issues with that. Okay, we are about all done, so I'm going to turn mine off, and I'm going to take them over and put them on, put some stuff on them to make them really good. Okay, as you can see, they get done pretty quickly. And if you've never had warm homemade potato chips, you are in for a treat. Okay, so I'm gonna put my favorite on them. I always like to dab off a little bit of the oil because I'm not real crazy about them being oily. So I'll dab off just a little bit of that oil. Then I'm just gonna take some garlic powder and sprinkle over top of them, and a little bit of Parmesan cheese. This is my favorite. And of course, my Parmesan cheese is coming out a little too crumbly, so we'll do If you want to, like I said, you can add some ranch dressing, some seasoning, some ranch seasoning. Sprinkle on the top. You can add anything you like. If you have a special seasoning that you like on your things, maybe you want yours to be spicy, or maybe you want them to be barbecue flavor or something. Sprinkle on your favorite. All right. Let's see what they taste like. See if they're warm enough. Oh my goodness, those are good. I hope you will try them. There are a couple of things I still wanted to share with you. Excuse me. So you're gonna get a little packet of stuff to take home with you if you watch this video and stop in. We have a packet of recipes for you and some tips and a couple of links to how you can watch potato chips be made in the factory. I also talked with the CEO and president of Ballrick Snack Food Company in Tiffin, Ohio, that makes Ballrick potato chips. And he had some facts he wanted to share with us about Ballrick potato chips. Ballrick chips are made using only 4 varieties of potatoes. Sugar and water content is critical to make potato chips. It takes approximately 4 pounds of potatoes for every pound of chips. Wow. Ballricks will use close to 6 million pounds of potatoes in 2022. Wow. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Mr. Miller. That's awesome. There's also a link to a video from Ballrick's potato chips that you can watch. And then there's another one for just another factory that makes potato chips. So Americans consume about 10 bags of chips per person per year. That's kind of awesome. And so in the 30s, you know, I talked about Herman Lay started the company that manufactured and sold the very first national brand of potato chips. And they became popular everywhere then. But in the 60s, Lay's had an advertising slogan that said, "Bet you can't eat just one." So potato chips are kind of like that. And I hope you'll try them, because I bet you can't eat just one.
Huron County Community